Hello, my name is Chrissy Dovey. Today, I am going to talk to you about my project-based lesson through edTPA and this course. So, topics of discussion: introduction, task 1, summary, just basic information. My 3-day lesson plans, task 2, task 3, summarized. I am currently an instructor at Jack Brick High School, which is located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I am in my 3rd year of lateral entry teaching. The course name that I did my PBL on is Law and Justice 1, grade level 9th grade through 12th grade. Number of students in this class, 17. Males are 9, and then I have 8 females. Students with 504s or IEP plans. Reading comprehension, the student receives extended time 1 day past original due date of assignment. I have a student with ADHD who requires close monitoring, preferential seating, communication with parents when missing work, and separate setting for all testing quizzes. My language-specific needs. I have one limited English-speaking student who actually does very well. Communication via iPad when needed, but seldomly needs it. My other learning needs, struggling academic and reader student, I provide the student with resources and redirect as needed. I have one student who is academically gifted, provide student with the opportunities to explore further into lessons and or help other students in the class when she is finished. And then I have a student who is partially deaf. If he does not have his hearing aid in for that day or if the battery has died, we use an FM system in the classroom. My 3-day lesson plans, day 1, the students were able to explore different types of sentencing and sentencing rules. They are to identify types of sentencing and sentencing rules and then research different types of alternative sentencing. Day 2, students were able to explore indeterminate sentencing and the 3 basic types of determinate sentencing. They did identify the difference between indeterminate and determinate sentencing and identify the 3 types of determinate sentencing. Day 3, students were able to explore the death penalty in the United States. They identified the different types of execution that has been used in history to present. They identified what types of crimes may deem a death penalty sentence. And they identified and discussed a death penalty case in the United States through a project presentation. So, edTPA Task 2, Summary, Instruction Commentary. Promoting a safe and positive learning environment, mutual respect and rapport and responsiveness. In my class, students understand from day 1 that respect for teachers and classmates is a must. I do not allow students to speak out of turn, and they must be respectful and listen to each other at all times. In lesson 1 at the beginning of class, one student was answering a question that I had asked. Another student was being disrespectful and talking. I quieted the disrespectful student in order for the class to hear the student's answer. Rapport for the students is established during class discussions. Students listen to the discussion and express their concerns about the discussion that is taking place. Safety is another thing in the classroom. Safety is continuously addressed in my lesson. Safety is continuously addressed by discussing topics, and classroom environment is monitored and controlled at all times. Engaging student learning, conceptual understanding. Students are engaged in developing conceptual understanding related to their specific area of CTE. Students are engaged in a class starter about sentencing and different crimes and by actively completing a sentencing guidelines handout. Technical skills, students are engaged in developing technical skills in law and justice by learning about the sentencing guidelines and different sentencing options. Through problem solving with scenarios, students are engaged by researching and thinking about a current murder case. The students were required to research the case and then determine their own decision on what sentencing the suspect should receive. Prior academic learning and personal cultural communication or community connection, students demonstrate prior learning by reviewing the unit terms from the day prior. As a whole class, we reviewed the unit terms to make sure the class understood the terms for this unit. Students' personal assets were demonstrated when the students selected sentencing timeframes from different crimes based on their own personal beliefs prior to seeing the set timeframes. Student cultural assets are demonstrated when the students learn about different sentencing that takes place in the criminal justice system. They are also able to see the broad sentencing timeframe for each crime. Deepening student learning through instruction. Promote learning built on student response. Students completed a sentencing guideline handout at the beginning of class based on their own opinions. After the completion of the handout, as a class, we discussed the students' sentencing timeframes of certain crimes, murder, burglary, arson, etc. The students listened to each student's response, and the students elaborated on their decisions and why they felt the way they did and why they felt they should give the person the sentencing they decided. Work artifacts to support students' understanding. Conceptual learning was demonstrated through students being able to think about different sentencing for several crimes. Technical skills were achieved through the unit lectures and discussions during class. Problem solving was demonstrated by students exploring a murder case and determining sentencing for a case with different factors to determine the best sentencing for a suspect. Analyzing teaching. After the completion of my lessons and reviewing my recordings, I would make changes to lesson 1 and 2. I would like to give better instruction, give more case examples, and more formal and informal assessments, and check for better understanding, mainly in my students that require more support academically. For better understanding, I would like to add more student engagement to improve understanding. I found that some students were confused on the instructions of the assignment and required more clarification. I feel that a few more case examples could have been used to open up a broader class discussion about different types of crimes and not just murder. For my students that need more support, I need to go around the room to those students and check for complete understanding instead of asking the class as a whole. My changes would improve student learning as a whole for the whole class. Analyze student learning, specific learning objectives measured by the assessment. The 3 lessons were measured by the end of the unit assessment. Lesson 1 learning objective was students were able to explore the different types of sentencing and sentencing rules by identifying sentencing and sentencing rules and researching a different type of sentencing for alternative sentencing. Lesson 2, students were able to explore indeterminate sentencing and the 3 basic types of determinate sentencing. Identify the differences between indeterminate and determinate sentencing, and then give us 3 types of determinate sentencings. And then lesson 3 objectives, students were able to explore the death penalty in the United States. Identify the different types of execution that have been used from history to present. Identify what types of crimes may deem a death penalty sentence. And identify and discuss death penalty case in the United States through a project and presentation. The assessment diagram will be explained on the following page. Work samples. I had 3 focus learners. Focus learner 1, top achiever of the class. Focus learner 2, mid-level learner of the class with accommodations. Focus learner 3, lower level learner. This is my diagram for my assessment for Unit 10. Patterns of learning can be seen throughout the assessment for Unit 10. The 3 focus learners are highlighted in yellow in the table. Student 16, focus learner 1, is a top achiever of the class. Student 1, focus learner 2, is the mid-level student with the IEP, close monitoring, separate setting for testing, and preferential seating. Student 14, focus learner 3, is a low-level learner with accommodations, without any accommodations. The pattern of learning is relative to conceptual understanding and skills within the career and technical education curriculum in law and justice. The class as a whole took the assessment within 90-minute block. Student 1 mid-level focused learner, was removed from the classroom into another classroom for a separate setting. Another teacher proctored the test in a separate setting location. The class as a whole performed well on the assessment. Understanding of the unit was successful as a whole. Focus Learner 1 is a top achiever of the class. The student consistently performs well on all assignments, projects, and assessments. Focus Learner 1 completed the assessment in approximately 20 minutes and scored a 100%. The student missed 0 questions out of 50 for the Unit 10 assessment. Focus Learner 1 mastered the unit. Focus Learner 2 is the mid-level learner of the class. This student performs average on all assignments, projects, and assessments. The student missed 9 questions out of the 50 for the Unit 10 assessment. The student was removed to separate settings for assessment and took approximately 80 minutes and scored 82%. Focus Learner 2 showed moderate mastery of the unit. Focus Learner 3 is the low-level learner of the class. This student performs low on all assignments, projects, and assessments. The student missed 30 questions out of the 50 for the Unit 10 assessment. The student completed the assessment in approximately 15 minutes and scored a 40%. Focus Learner 3 did not demonstrate mastery of Unit 10. The class overall demonstrated mastery of the Unit 10, but several students struggled on question 3. After class discussion, the question was noted to have been misleading terminology that caused confusion. Focus Learner 1 continuously performs high and needs greater challenge on all assignments, projects, and assessments. Focus Learner 2 has an IEP in class for the academic school year. The student continues to perform well overall on all assignments, projects, assessments, and assessments. The student needs redirection often but stays on task. Focus Learner 3 is a struggling student and continuously performs low on all assignments, projects, and assessment. The student tends to not show effort and does not have any accommodations on file. The majority of the class scored 90% or higher on the assessment. The assessment showed mastery of Unit 10, sentencing correctional issues. Feedback to guide further learning. The feedback the students received was in the form of the Unit 10 assessment. Focus Learner 1 was informed that she demonstrated mastery of the course unit. Focus Learner 2 was informed that he demonstrated moderate mastery of the course unit. Focus Learner 3 was informed that he did not demonstrate mastery of the course unit. The feedback provided to each Focus Learner addressed their strengths and areas that need improvement. Focus Learner 1 is a top achiever in the class and will need more challenging assignments, projects, and assessments. This particular student will be used to assist students who are struggling in the class, like Focus Learner 3. Focus Learner 2 is a mid-level student and has accommodations for testing. This student has full potential and is able to perform better on assessments. Focus Learner 3 is a low-level student that does not have accommodations. This student needs to be redirected and focus on the objective that is being taught. The student seemed accepting of our discussion and the need to perform better in class. Focus Learner 3 as a whole were receptive. All 3 Focus Learners as a whole were receptive to the feedback and area that need to be improved upon. The feedback provided to each Focus Learner addressed their strengths and areas of improvement, and they all understood what needed to be done. Using assessment to inform instruction. Based on analysis of student learning in Unit 10, the students overall demonstrated moderate to mastery of content learned. The 3 Focus Learners were on different academic levels. That was demonstrated on the assessment that was taken for the unit. A review of the test was given after the assessment was taken. Throughout this semester, the class as a whole will review the material in preparation for the final exam. The next step for this course, the course of Law and Justice deals with real-life situations and laws that are in place in the United States. Students took the assessment for Unit 10, but this unit builds on other units and knowledge needed to build on the rest of the course. The course uses constructivism to help students relate to the unit being taught. The learners bring experiences and cultural factors into the classroom for everyone to build a better understanding of the lesson. Students continue to build with each lesson taught, and each lesson continues to build upon one another. By reviewing the lessons throughout the semester helps the student retain the information and build the knowledge needed to complete the course successfully. In conclusion, edTPA was a valuable insight to what I expect in the spring semester with edTPA. Overall, I like how edTPA Lite made us think in detail, in lots of detail, and how our lessons play out from the start to finish. It makes us as a teacher understand exactly what should be going into planning a lesson for our students. Although edTPA Lite was nerve-wracking at times and I felt lost, overall it was a valuable part of the course this semester, and I look forward to this spring semester. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.